All right. Howdy, folks. I'm Brian, and here's some Reddit. Our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for paying my neighbor's child to bang on the walls whenever my girlfriend practices her singing? My partner, a 33-year-old female, and I, a 31-year-old male, have been together for a few years now, and it's all great. I work in the city, but at home currently, my girlfriend is using her inheritance to work on her art. I'm very supportive, and I help her film and edit videos. I do her promotion on social media, and she's quite shy and reluctant to do so herself. I'd be a roadie when she had gigs in the old days. I have even offered to pay her for a rehearsal studio so that she can practice, so that she could have better acoustics than our flat. The only real problem is that I find her singing voice and most of her material to be very annoying. They're slow acoustic rap covers that are old hat. And I can cope for 5 to 10 minutes at a time, but after that, it's like nails on a chalkboard. My colleagues can faintly hear her in the background of my video meetings, even when I close my office door. And I think a few times I've heard them sniggering, but I've just tried to ignore it. As we live in a flat and our neighbors have a child that is currently homeschooling, I have agreed to pay them £1 to bang on the wall whenever I request them to. This was working out well until my neighbor's parent asked him where he got the money for his new trainers, and unfortunately he ratted me out. The parent has noticed in the hallway conversations with my girlfriend that she seemed a bit down lately and has put two and two together and figured it out and is now telling me that what I've done is terrible, and if I don't tell my girlfriend what I've been doing, then she will. Am I the jerk for just wanting a bit of peace and quiet while I'm working? Wow. No, not, OP. There was no other way to resolve this situation other than having your neighbor bang on the walls. Clearly, you couldn't have, communicated with her or told her that, I need more quiet during the daytime to concentrate on my work or any number of things. Instead, being passive aggressive is just the way it has to be sometimes. So, the problem here, OP, is that this is passive aggressive, and you've paid a child to interrupt your wife's singing or your girlfriend's singing because you're apparently unable to have a difficult conversation with your girlfriend. And now this may even cost you your relationship because, I don't know how your girlfriend is going to react to this, but I can't imagine she's going to react well. I don't imagine she's going to feel very warm and fuzzy on the inside about this. And then on top of that, your poor neighbor, they have their child who's been being a jerk to their neighbor, and your girlfriend may even be sad when she talks to the neighbor because she may not even realize it's the kid doing this. So, in a lot of ways, it seems like you took the responsibility of having an adult conversation with your girlfriend and pawned it off on a little kid so that they could earn a buck. I think that was in poor taste, and I think that you should have sat down and had a conversation with your girlfriend instead of doing this. You're the jerk for how you did it. It's easy to soundproof a room a bit. Or speak to his live-in girlfriend? Yeah, that's my thought. Yeah, and soundproofing isn't that expensive. And in another, you're the jerk for art goes to show the extent of OP's faith in his partner's abilities. OP, either talk to your girlfriend about her art or let her be. You're making her feel bad about herself without having to shoulder any of the emotional labor that comes with it. That just is bad. Yeah, exactly. Probably phrased a little better than I phrased it. It's a shame they haven't invented anything that someone could wear during all of these conference calls to cut down on the background noise. Oh wait, OP would rather have his girlfriend take a hit on her self-esteem than 1, talk to her about when she practices, 2, wear noise-canceling headphones, which should be done anyways, and apparently he doesn't see a problem with paying a third party to nag his girlfriend and grind away her self-confidence because her kind of music isn't his thing. That's really mean, OP. Check yourself. Honestly, I hope she dumps you, as you are anything but a supportive partner. You're the jerk. All right. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for yelling at our sitter? My wife and I are at odds over this, and I thought that I am in the right, but I'm open to others' opinions. Our kids are 2.5 and are quite a handful. They have speech delays, they don't really listen, and they aren't potty trained. I tend to just give in and avoid their crying and tantrums. My wife believes discipline will help, but it just leads to more tears and no progress. Recently, we started going back into work and hired a college student to watch the kids. She's very caring and obviously loves working with the kids, and my wife considers a good friend, and we can trust her with the children, but I haven't seen any improvements. We've told her that we want the kids to be potty trained and talking soon, and while she definitely takes good care of the kids, there's no improvement. The other day, I came home to my twins crying, and the sitter told me that one of them had ripped their clothes off and had gone to the bathroom on the floor during nap time, and I lost my temper and told her that this wouldn't have happened if she had worked with the kids the way she should have. I told her that I expected the kids to have been progressing more by now. She left soon after and must have texted my wife that night apologizing because my wife is mad. She said it isn't a college student's problem to raise our kids. She's here to watch them and add on to what we do as parents. While I understand that they are our kids, I don't think my wife is right. I think if you're in charge of the kids, then you should be teaching them manners and speech and potty training them. Am I the jerk? OP. She's a college student trying to earn some money here. She's not a professional speech therapist. If you need a professional speech therapist, then take them to a professional speech therapist. And kids are going to be potty trained in their own time. While she can help them a little bit, it's not her responsibility to make sure your kids are potty trained. Plain and simple. She's doing probably the best that she can. And I don't know how you expect an unexperienced college student to do any better job at raising a kid than their own parents. So, I don't know. So, for what it's worth, yeah, I think you're a jerk here. I don't think this is her responsibility. I think she can, of course, help, but she's not the one who has to shoulder this responsibility. She isn't rearing your children. You're the jerk, and this must be a joke. Potty training is your job, and they might not be ready. Speech delay? Get them professional help. If you seriously want to outsource those duties, you need to pay someone with loads of experience and not a college kid. You sound like a nightmare, and I sure hope the college kid quits on you like yesterday. And who yells at an employee that's so unbelievably unprofessional? There's almost never a reason for an adult to yell at another adult. That's not the way to communicate with an employee or peer. Back when I babysat, if a parent yelled at me, I would have quit immediately. These days, a boss yelled at me, I would go straight to HR. You're the jerk. It's your job as a parent to potty train your kids and teach them how to talk and manners. You are not doing your job, and you expect the babysitter to pick up your slack. All right, our last letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my ex-husband that my child support obligations are over? I'm a 39-year-old female, and my ex-husband and I have been divorced for the last 13 years. I gave up custody of my daughter during the divorce and have been sending over child support checks until May of 2020 when my daughter turned 18. My daughter is a quadriplegic and has been since she was 5. Her dad lost his job around 14 years ago, so for the first 2 years after our divorce, the child support and me and my new husband sent over was what helped them to survive. My checks have never been late, but now I have 2 kids with my current husband, aged 12 and 8. I've been a stay-at-home mom for the entirety of our marriage, so it's been my husband's being kind enough to pay for a child that is not his. When my daughter turned 18, I talked to her and basically wished her and my ex-husband luck in whatever they chose to do in the future. I get a call from my ex-husband saying that my daughter wanted to start college in fall of 2021. The college they picked was the best in the state for students with disabilities, but that my ex-husband couldn't foot the bill for the tuition alone. He said that our daughter couldn't do any of the student available jobs and said that if I wanted to do right by my first child, then I should help foot the bill. I was talking to my ex-husband on the speakerphone, and my current husband interjected and said that was all of his money and that he has done everything to help me meet my legal obligation, but now that's done. I told my husband that our daughter is now a legal adult, and I had covered her expenses when she needed a lot of medical attention at ages 6 and 7, and that we were only a little bit older than her when we were already parents. I told him that I had already done right by our child and that college isn't a necessity. I wished them the best of luck in looking for possible other solutions and scholarships and grants, and said that I had 2 kids that needed me. Am I the jerk for fulfilling my legal obligations and telling my ex that his 18-year-old is now an adult? Well, OP, it seems like you've basically wanted to cut off contact with your daughter. And I think that's kind of a jerk move. I mean, parenting doesn't end when your child turns 18. And it sounds like you left the moment your daughter became a quadriplegic, because the math works out. I believe your daughter's 18, and you said you've been divorced for the last 13 years. So, yeah. It looks like not very good for you. So you've been divorced for the last 13 years, and you divorced after your daughter became a quadriplegic. I think that's enough to make you the jerk in this situation. Your husband has been caring for your child for the last 18 years, and you've fulfilled all your financial obligations here. But it really seems pretty terrible that you kind of washed your hands of your child and have basically said that she's not my responsibility anymore. I've done everything that I needed to do. She's your daughter, and you should be helping her with her. You should be helping her with her college. Like, I can certainly understand that you wouldn't want to. Like, your husband isn't, entitled to, additional aid from you. You're divorced, but your daughter is your daughter here, and it seems really in poor taste that you wouldn't help her excel in life, and that you basically, once she turned 18, you wanted nothing to do with her. It sounds like you haven't wanted anything to do with her since the very beginning when she became quadriplegic. And yeah, I can understand, like, if you don't feel like you're going to be a good caretaker, and it seems like your husband's been doing all the caretaking. And it's important to understand, what your limitations are, because not everyone can be a good caretaker of, someone who has a disability like this. And it's very stressful and very hard to, help someone who's in a situation like this. But your daughter needs your aid in some other form. And I think that you're really giving your ex-husband the short end of the stick here, because he's cared for her for all these years, helped her grow, helped her develop, and, acted as her primary caretaker. I really honestly think that you're a jerk in this situation, and I think that basically the way your tone comes across is that you don't want anything to do with your daughter and you never want to see her again, which I think is really sad. Wow, you just washed your hands of your child, didn't you? And correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like OP, A, left her daughter as soon as her daughter became a quadriplegic, B, has provided minimal financial support as a mother, and for some reason thinks that's sufficient, and C, that her 2 able-bodied kids should take precedence over her just because. Not the jerk to your ex-husband, but very much the jerk in regards to how you've treated your child. Guess you moved on to your real children and real family and just left her in the dust, huh? No, you didn't do right by your child because you sent her money until she was 18. Doing the math, you gave up custody right around when she became a quadriplegic. Doesn't seem like a coincidence to me. You've been a terrible parent. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. If you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.